particular topics, something that you wanted to know more about, you can always email us or email Piyananda Hamdru, the temple, so then we can teach you about that. So maybe we can just start today's lesson. Let's share the PowerPoint, right?
Yeah, also we requested all of them to show your beautiful, nice faces. We love to see all of you guys.
Hold on 1 second while we figure out the tech I have. Why isn't this closing? All right, there we go. Can you see our PowerPoint? Yes, no, maybe. Yes, okay, I see nodding. I like that. I like nodding. Okay. Okay. All right. Students, Happy New Year again. Today's topic is healing powers of chanting. And this is Mihiri, my daughter, as you know. So this topic is very time appropriate in this pandemic. So today we will talk about a lot about the chanting, and we hope after listening to this lesson that you will see how important the chanting is and its effect on us and the world from the chanting. This has been done for many thousands of years. And not only that, we are going to talk about how to listen to the chanting. How should we listen to the chanting to make the chanting to be most effective? So next time when you listen to chanting, we hope that you follow this, what you learned today. So as I said, we will discuss the healing powers of chanting, but we will also discuss about later in the discussion questions, how chanting, music, quotes, proverbs or mantras, whether it's the mantra could be spiritual, personal or family mantra, can positively help you to heal, take care and face this pandemic. And then specifically we will take Ratana Sutra, the Jewel Discourse, and then we will discuss about its contents and the background story, why it is chanted during times of pandemic, famine, and in times of evil. So we already sent you this reading material. And again, Bhante Piyananda's excellent book, Saffron Days in LA, Chapter 8, Healing Powers of Chanting. I hope that you read it. So some of the questions were based on that. And then we sent Ratana Sutra background story and also the Pali verses and the English translations. And then we sent you YouTube videos of Ratana Sutra chanting, which happened in December 27th, organized by our temple. And also Ratana Sutra singing by a Bangladeshi girl, Priya Barua.
So different spiritual practices play an important role in people's daily lives, just in general, but in times of crisis, like this past year, they become especially important. So when we have COVID-19, when we're social distancing during the lockdown, it's perfectly normal for people to feel anxious and scared. So spiritual communities, regardless of what spiritual community you are, can help people create meaning in times of uncertainty and anxiety, and can help us cope with situations beyond our control. So spiritual communities provide a sort of stability in an unstable time. So in March 2020, when all of these lockdowns began to start all over the world, Google searches about prayer skyrocketed. So even people who didn't consider themselves to be religious were turning to prayer and a spirituality as a way to cope with the crisis, because this is, as we've heard time and time again, this is an unprecedented moment in global history. So like our temple is doing, many religious leaders are connecting with their community members via Zoom, via live stream services, and finding ways to connect in an increasingly unconnected world this past year. And millions of Buddhists are seeking protection and healing and are turning to traditional religious rituals.
Today we are going to talk mostly about the Buddhist rituals, but there are almost all religious communities are doing this. I mean, Sikh community, they, in addition to these religious practices, Khalsa Aid provided free grocery essential and many pickup points. And then some of the yoga studios and meditation apps, they provided free apps for people who are not even affiliated with any religious thing. And a lot of free online classes to support people through this challenging time. So again, I wanted to make sure that almost all the religious and non-religious communities are helping to different practices to help people to deal with this crisis in many different ways, with providing food, providing spiritual guidance, and other ways. So Buddhist leaders are using a range of practices and rituals rites to protect against disease. So when in March, I think when the COVID-19 appeared, Dalai Lama and the other senior monks and Buddhist organizations on all Asia emphasized people to face pandemic by practicing meditation, practicing compassion, generosity, and gratitude. And we talked about these in one of the other classes, and we talked about that they lead to mindfulness, happiness, and stress reduction. So another Buddhist teacher, famous Buddhist teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, he uses breath as the gateway to become calm, joy, and other positive feelings. So doing these spiritual practices can help to decrease our fear and uncertainty. So Buddhist teacher Lama Surya Das encouraged us to address all our fears and to work. Just one second.
Hold on.
Hello.
Hi. So Buddhist teacher Lama Surya Das encourages us to address all of our fears and work to transform them. So we ask, what is it that you are afraid of? Embrace your fear. Start out with only one fear. Accept uncertainty. When we are worried or distraught, it helps to realize that something is not certain. And I find that really, for myself, when something is strange or scary, just to name it as strange or scary. And that helps to know that you accept that that something is strange or scary. And then you can talk about it with yourself, you can talk about it with others, and then they can validate you by saying, yes, this is a strange and scary moment. And so that can be incredibly powerful when you address your fears head on.
Yeah. So there are so many fears during this time, just by catching the virus, and then other fears like death, losing a loved one. We are isolated. You guys are not going to school. Some people aren't going to work. They lost jobs. So financial problems and many, many more fears. So as Mihiri said, like confronting and embracing your fear, and just starting with one fear, as Teacher Lama Surya talking about. And in Buddhism, we have this uncertainty. We know about this uncertainty, but one of the biggest teaching is like accept this uncertainty, because everything is impermanent. Everything is subject to change. So in this time too, in this pandemic, we need to accept that it is real. And if you try to not accept that, that creates more fear to us.
So chanting mantras as a healing ritual. The word mantra means prayer or song of praise, something that is repeated over and over again, recited repeatedly. So chanting mantras is a practice that Buddhists use to cultivate compassion for themselves and other sentient beings. Hindus too. Also chant mantras as well. There's the Tara mantra, which the Dalai Lama advises Buddhists to chant in response to the pandemic.
So then another mantra that in December, Sri Satya Sai International Organization, they held a global Akhanda Gayatri mantra to chant to Goddess Gayatri, and that was in December for all 24 hours. And that is the Goddess Gayatri. It's one of the oldest, dates back to several thousand years, and it's very powerful Sanskrit mantra. So that also chanted to prevent, cure diseases, wards of miseries, and bring peace to the world. So as you see, lots of different religious organizations are doing mantras and chanting, and as we said, religious practices, rituals.
So like I was saying, the Tara mantra is also a mantra. So the Gayatri mantra is for a goddess, and the Tara mantra is for a bodhisattva who is associated with compassion and well-being to gain her protection. And then we have the Shanti mantra, which last May a Hindu priest chanted for the National Day of Prayer service in the Rose Garden at the White House. So the word Shanti is a Sanskrit word, which means peace. And with the Shanti mantra, you invoke peace in body, speech, and mind. And a 2016 study by Macquarie University showed that chanting the mantra Om for 10 minutes can improve attention, contributes to a positive mood, and can increase feelings of social cohesion. So mantras can be healing, and mantras have been used very recently to promote healing and goodwill.
Now we will talk about Parita chanting. So there are a lot of suttas in Buddha Dharma, but Parita in Pali means translated to protection or safeguard. So it was originally chanted by Buddha for the blessings and protection of his disciples and devotees. So there are some set of discourses or chants which are considered Parita. So Parita chanting is practiced all over the world, especially in Theravada Buddhist countries. And these suttas or sermons are chanted in Pali and passed down orally. So these days we hear a lot of Parita Sutra. During the last few days, many people participated in Parita chanting, listening for one of our very good friends who was sick from COVID. And some of those sutras that monks from different temples chanted: Ratana Sutra, Bojjanga Sutra, Girimananda Sutra, Abhisambindana Dinapanjara Sutra, Jayapirit, and Karaniyameta Sutra, and many more. So these sutras we wish by chanting to have protection against and getting free from sickness and disease. So I hope that you kids tell your parents, and you can participate in this parita chanting. We have our temple is doing one at 8:30 tonight again, and you can call the temple and ask, or I can put it in the Google form, the password too, if you wanted to. I really highly encourage. Piyananda Hamadurane, do you want to say add something to the Parita Sutra?
Today we're going to chant in, or what is the
anything like different Parita Sutra? I only listed some of the Parita Sutra.
You did a marvelous way. We have a lot of suttas which Lord Buddha himself taught to eradicate and remove and prevent protection for any disease. Bojjhanga suttas, like Girimananda Sutta. Same time, later our early Sangha, I mean the full enlightenments, also make discourses, Mahajayamangala, then the Jinapanjara, Hatavisipirita, then those are the many other suttas. Even today we plan to chant in Jalanandana Sutta. Those are the very important suttas for our protections.
So Buddhist, from Buddha's time, the Buddhist literature and Buddhist teaching talks about several factors combined to contribute towards effectiveness of Parita chanting. So this is really, really important, because just because that we listen without concentration or with discipline, that's not good. So let me talk about what factors contribute for the effectiveness. So first one is power of truth. So Parita recital is a form of Satya Kriya. Satya means true, Kriya means action. So this is the belief in the effective power to heal or protect by assertion or affirmation or declaration of something quite true. So, for example, we know Buddha is enlightened, and the supreme Buddha, that is true, right? So we can affirmate with Buddha's qualities, Dhamma's qualities, Sangha's qualities, that is something true. And you can declare that because this is something true, may that truth give power to be well. So, for example, at the end of the recital of each Parita Sutra, monks or the chanters bless the listeners with the words of this assertion or affirmation of truth. That is, etena sacha vajjena sotite hotu sabbada. That means, by the power of the truth of these words, may you be well. So when you listen to this, Pirit, when you hear that, now you know it. Monks are asserting the power of truth and wishing that may you be well. So in Angulimala Sutra, for example, Angulimala Sutra is chanted for pregnant women close to when their delivery dates. For example, when I was pregnant, I went to our temple, and Balangudam Ananda Maitri Hamaduro and Piyananda Hamaduro and all the other monks chanted Angulimala Sutra about 2 weeks before Mihiri was born. In Angulimala Sutra, it says, by this assertion of truth, may you be well, may your unborn child be well. Their monks and originally Angulimala Thera, they are asserting their goodness. They haven't, they have been well, knowingly they haven't killed. They therefore, from that truth, they are wishing the unborn child to be born well without any problem, and the mother to be well as well. So another factor is the power of virtue. So there are Pirit, there is called Book of Protection of Pirit book, Pirit Pota. It describes the virtuous life. And we know Buddhism, the starting point is Sila, virtue. We talked about this in, I think, last two talks. So when a person listens to Pirit intelligently, in a attentive way, reflective mood, and then you need to also have complete confidence in Buddha's word, because Buddha who gained complete enlightenment, right? So you need to have a state of mind to have this protection effect, to protect from the all harm. So you need to be very much in a calm mood, concentrative mood, and believing in what is being said. Then the power of love. Monks and Buddha and the monks, when they recited this parita, they do it with heart of love and compassion. And with this power of love, they wish the listeners and others to heal and happiness and protection from all harm. Then there is the power of sound. The rhythm of chanting is important, and these vibrant sounds create pleasant field of energy for the listeners as well as chanters. So listen to the words, listen to the sound of the words, listen with compassion, listen with attentiveness, listen with belief. So when paritras, I wanted to say again, when Pirit are being chanted, we should listen to the chanting with confidence, respect, and attentiveness.
So in chapter, so that's actually chapter 13, Pianandru corrected us, of Saffron Days in LA. Bhante Piananda talks the story of how he trained 4 Thai young men in their mid-teens when they became novices. So here are the first question. Why do some Southeast Asian countries practice temporary ordination in which young men practice being novices for short periods of time? And I believe the person answering this question is Kai.
Yes. Hi, my name is Kai Kure, and I will be talking about why some Southeast Asian countries practice temporary ordination. Mm-hmm. Temporary ordination, in which young men practice being novices for a short period of time, is a rite of passage in the Theravada countries of the Southeast Asia region. It requires that all men at some point in their life before marriage take ordination and spend some time in a monastery. During school break, many young men usually ordain for a week or two to earn merit for loved ones and to gain knowledge of Buddhist teachings. In most countries, this temporary ordination occurs during the Vasa retreat, which is regarded as a period of intensified spiritual effort by local Buddhists. Besides its social function, temporary ordination is taken as a way of acquiring and transmitting punya. Some of the historical reasons for this tradition were the relationship between monastics and lay people. The laity provided economic support for monastics, accruing spiritual merit through those acts of generosity, while monastics provided both religious and non-religious education for children, offered chants and blessings, and presided over funerals and other ceremonies. To this day, many boys and young men take temporary ordination for a few days or longer, in part to bring honor and merit to their families.
Great. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Really well.
So,
a summary.
That was a really good summary.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about the relationship, how it strengthens the relationship between the laity and the Sangha, the Buddhist monks, the Buddhist community. Something else, so depending on which country, Sometimes the temporary ordination can be a week or two, like you were saying, Kai. It can also be a month or 3 months. So different countries practice, different communities practice in different ways. And so kind of think about that. Think about what it would take for you, if you are a young person, right? And not just you, Kai, but everyone here, for you to go and become go and practice the monastic life, wear the robe, shave your head for a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months. So imagine the type of dedication and the type of discipline that would take. Do you think, you could do it? Do you think that's something that you would want to do? And it's always interesting to see how different, even though we're all Theravada Buddhists, how different like Southeast Asian countries might practice Theravada Buddhism in a different way from like Sri Lankan Buddhists. Sure.
So I think you probably read the process of the ordination of a samanera or novice, because Bhante Piyananda really described it very well. Mihiri, remember we participated in Bhikkhuni ordination in Dharma Vijaya Buddhist Vihara, and we saw some of the process which was described by Piyananda Hamudru happening with the bhikkhunis. So next time, if you were to hear if the temple having an ordination, I highly encourage for you to participate. So these two pictures are showing, it says like, you wear white and then you get your head shaved, and also one of the very important thing Piyananda Hamudru mentioned, for young person to be ordained even temporary, you need the permission of the parents. And then after this shaving, they are given these 8 items that he describes, which are needed for monks. And now you can see these young men are wearing robes. I just put some pictures I got from internet to have a little bit better visual effect.
All right, so question 2, what are the benefits of listening to the Parita? And I think Ishan Samarasinghe is going to be answering that question for us. Ishan, are you here? Maybe not. Oh, no, Ishan is there. Ishan, I think we cannot hear. We can't hear you. Okay, so you're muted, and so unmute yourself.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, we can't hear you. You're unmuted, but we can't hear you. Maybe check what.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or we connect to audio.
I don't know who that is.
It's me. You can check your mic settings in the menu. If you have, or you can reconnect to audio, or you can check mic settings on Zoom.
Thank you very much. Where did Ishan go? I think maybe Ishad disappeared for a moment. You know what? We'll move on. And if Ishan joins us,
maybe we can just go a
little
bit.
We'll just go over kind of the answer.
And then when Ishan comes, he can say his ideas. So Parita chanting is specifically for protecting ourselves from evil spirits, misfortune, sickness, negative influences of the planetary systems. So as I said before, rhythm of chanting is very important, and these vibrant sounds affect us to have a calm mental state of all the people who are listening.
Now,
So,
Ishan, I think
Ishan, you're back. Do you want to
Okay.
unmute yourself and try? You want to start talking? We can see if we can hear you. Oh, okay. Okay. I guess it's not working. Don't worry about it, Ishan.
Yeah. So,
Continue.
So again, as I said, when devoted and experienced monks chant with compassion and concentration, powerful thoughts and sound waves emit from their hearts, minds, and voices, and it affects the sincere, attentive listeners who are open to receiving their blessings. So it is really important. Listeners, as listeners, we need to believe and attentively listen. As I talked to you before. So when Ishan comes, he can let us know. Ishan.
Well, he was here. He's no longer here. I think maybe he signed out and said back in. It's okay. We can move on.
Yeah. So there are physiological, psychological, and neurological benefits of Pirit chanting. So Pirit chanting has been practiced for more than thousands of years in almost every culture, especially Theravada countries, and they have people thought that only has spiritual advantages, but now scientists have found physiological, psychological benefits, and now the West accept these. We knew thousands of years ago. So scientists have done, the imaging of brains while Pirit chanting of Pirit or mantras are repeated, and then they measure the imaging, and there are many scientific studies have done. So some of the studies show this repetitive chanting has an effect on our parasympathetic nervous system, and it activates the vagal nerve, and it can slow breathing. And then also scientists have found it decreases stress, anxiety, but increase positive mood and feeling of relaxation and focus attention. And also some recent studies showed increased cerebral flow, increased blood flow to the brain. And this kind of a mantra therapy has been used as a post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD, in war veterans. And they found that it has an effect.
All right, Ishan, I see that you're back. Let's try this one more time. And if it doesn't work, don't worry about it. We're just going to move on. So please unmute yourself and we'll go back to the question.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hello, my name is Ishan Samarasinghe, and my topic is, what are the benefits of listening to Partha chanting? But first, we should understand what Partha chanting is. Partha chanting is the listening of the recital of the Dharma, or the doctrine of the Buddha, in order to avert illness or danger, ward off the influence of malignant beings, to obtain protection and deliverance from evil, and to promote health, prosperity, welfare, and well-being. The selected discourses for recital are known as Partha Sutta. Anyways, back to my topic. When we listen to this chanting, we get blessings. These blessings vary, however. They are all meant to protect you. It is also proven if you listen to Partha chanting, it will help you produce better mental health. Such mental well-being can help those who are ill to recover, and can also help not only induce mental attitude that brings happiness, but also to overcome its opposite. Originally in India, those who listened to Partha sayings of the Buddha understood what was recited, and the effect on them was correspondingly great. The Buddha himself had Partha recited on him, and he also requested others to recite Partha for his own disciples when they were ill. During the pandemic, this is one of the best things to listen to because many people are getting ill, and if they listen to this, they will recover sooner and feel a lot better. Thank you.
Thank you,
so
Ishan.
much.
Well worth the wait.
Yes.
All right. Do you have anything else? All right. So our next question. So what was the short verse from the Dhammapada that Bhante Pinanda taught Anando, who was one of the young novices in the story, in the chapter, to recite to overcome his nightmares? And I believe Gayana Kodagoda is going to be answering that question.
It's Gayana or
Is it
Gayana?
Gayana or Gayana?
Gayana.
Gayana,
All
okay.
right.
Hi, my name is Gana Kodagara, and today I'll be telling you guys about this Sabba Papa Sakaranagata and the meaning of it. Sabba Papa Sakaranat Kusala Stupa Sampada Shachinta Pariyo Dapana Etam Buddhan Sasana Sithime Paunokaran Kusalma Raskaran Tamage Sita Pirisindu Karagan May Siela Buduvarunge Anushasanawa. Avoid all evil, do only good, purity one's mind, all Buddhas had teach this. Thank you for listening.
That was beautiful.
That
You
is-
said it in three different languages. That is great.
That's very, very cool. And here, for those of you who'd like a little visual aid, here is the chant in only 2 languages, in Pali and in English. Thank you. That was great, Gayana. All right. So in the chapter, we read about the story of Todd. And so as Bhante Piananda was talking to the young novices, one of the novices, Suat, asked, have you or anyone else ever benefit from chanting? And then Bhante Piananda told the story of Todd.
Yeah, because Swat found out from Bhante Piananda how it helped in Buddha's time. So he wanted to know, have you personally experienced anyone benefiting from the chanting?
So, so then he talked about the story of Todd. So what rituals did Bhante Piananda do to help with Todd's problems? And I believe Aisha will be answering this question.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aisha Pereira, and today I'll be talking to you about the ways Bhante Piananda helped Todd with his problems, in addition to what he told the novice monks and how they can help physical ailments using chanting. In Bhante Piananda's book, Saffron Days in LA, chapter 13, titled The Healing Powers of Chanting, there's a story about a man named Todd. Todd and Barbara were a couple who had reached an extremely low point in their lives. They lost their children because the city deemed them mentally unstable for taking care of them. Hopeless and in dire need of help, Todd came to Bhante Piananda. Bhante Piananda helped him by praying for 7 days. Although Todd was a bit uncomfortable in the beginning during the praying, he was determined to help fix his life. Bhante Piananda prayed for an hour every day for 7 days and gave Todd pirith water on the 7th day. He tied a pirith nula, which is typically tied on your wrist. He tied it on Todd's neck so he could get extra blessings and extra merit. After a few days, Todd returned and he was significantly happier and stopped taking the medicine that his doctors had prescribed for him. He was thanking Bhante profusely for helping him, and then he requested if Bhante could help his wife as well, Barbara. Barbara was extremely emaciated when Bhante came, and she was delusional and paranoid. Bhante Piananda chanted pirith for her 3 times and brought a statue of the Buddha the 3rd day. Eventually, she became relaxed and was cured of her mania. Both Todd and Barbara became happy and well again. They regained custody of their children and were able to get a job at a prestigious university. As you can see in this story, the powerful pirith chanting was able to help their lives. Now, how did the pirith chanting help them so much? The next topic I'll be talking about will be the powers of pirith. Pirith itself is a very powerful practice, and pirith is chanted to protect ourselves and others from evil spirits and negative things. Some of the most important factors of pirith are the way in which it is chanted, because the rhythm is very important. The vibrations and the sound made from reciting pirith creates a good and pleasant field of energy. These powerful vibrations are what brings peace and joy into our mind. If someone is willing is if someone is open and willing to receive blessings, and the monk is chanting with compassion, that person will receive lots of good merit. As our mind is very closely linked with the body, listening to Puris is very beneficial because it helps us maintain a happy and healthy mind. The body slows down as the mind slows down. So if we have a happy mind, we will have a healthy body. For example, if someone was sick and in recovery, a person who is very happy and optimistic will recover faster, whereas someone who is pessimistic and negative will have a longer recovery. Puris relates to this as chanting brings emotional comfort to the listener and significantly reduces your stress. Additionally, every sutta has special powers, and at the end, the words Etena Sajjavachena Sotite Hotu Sabbada is recited, which means by the power of the truth of these words, may you be ever well. This blesses the listeners at the end. Thank you for listening, and I hope you all now have a better understanding of these topics. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha. So you actually answered two questions, which is what are the rituals that Bhante Pinanda did to help with Todd's problems? And you answered the next question as well, which was about the ways,
Yeah, I wanted to show, I have this picture here because Bhante Pinanda describes how he prepared a pot of water covered with a white cloth and a string around the pot. And then string was attached to a Buddha statue. And together, Bhante Pinanda and Todd held this string. And Bhante Pinanda chanted Parita for 1 hour. So you can see in this picture, there's a part, clay pot covered with a white cloth, and the Pirita nul or the string is attached to that. And it will go, and that this is the Pirit nul that we hold while monks are chanting.
All right. And then this was the next question that you answered about how to help physical ailments using chanting.
Yeah, so you pretty much explain all of these things. Like if anyone wants to go back and look at it, it's there, but you did an excellent job. So, so even though we say it is true, the chanting has a physical ailment, but of course, I have it in red. Common sense must lead one to seek proper medical attention if one is injured or seriously ill. So don't forget that.
Yes.
Okay.
Does anybody here have a cat or have heard cats purring? So sometimes we think of cats purring as a way to be happy. But when cats are injured, they also purr. And they've done experiments and they've shown that the vibrations, Aisha was talking about vibrations, the vibrations in the cat's purr provide healing for an injured cat. Of course, just like my mother was saying, if a cat is extremely injured, they need medical attention. But that's a way that, in the animal kingdom, you see how vibrations can be used for healing in the same way that the vibrations of chanting, like Aisha was saying, can be used for healing. All right. So when listening to the chanting, going back to the chapter, Sivali, one of the novices, was a bit restless and moving around a lot. So Bhante Pinanda asked him what was bothering him. And he said, well, I can't sit still for even 5 minutes. So how can I concentrate to listen? So how did Bhante Pinanda advise Sivali on how to concentrate while listening to chanting? I believe Deodunu is the one who's answering this question. Excuse me.
Hello, my name is Deodunu, and today my topic is, what did Bhante Pinanda advise Sivali to do in order to remain calm and steady while listening to Parita? In chapter 13 of Venerable Walpola Pinanda's book, Saffron Days in LA, there is a small story that talks about 4 young disciples who practiced under Venerable Pinanda for a week as is required in their culture. Today, I will be talking about one part of the story where one young monk, Sivali, consults the Venerable on his disability to stay still while listening to Parita. When Sivali asked the Bhante, he asked, Bhante, I can't sit still even for 5 minutes. How can I concentrate to listen to you? In response, Venerable Piyananda told him about ways he felt were effective in gaining calmness and sitting still. He stated, Sivali, you obviously need to develop your powers of concentration. To do that, you must believe in what you are doing, knowing that it is correct. The chanting of suttas can bring material blessings if the listeners maintain the appropriate wholesome state of mind, combined with confidence in the outcome. According to the Buddha, right effort is a necessary factor in overcoming suffering. Sivali, while you are here at the Vihara this week, I challenge you to make the effort to learn to sit still. Only then can you begin to increase your ability to concentrate. In this statement, we can analyze what the Bhante meant. Material blessings if the listeners maintain appropriate, wholesome state of mind. This means that one way to stay concentrated is a motive. In this case, the motive or incentive is the benefits one can reap from staying still, such as internal peace, welfare, and prosperity. Of course, these benefits come from not only having peace and sitting still, but also from listening to the Pirit itself. The Bhante also uses this as an opportunity to talk about one aspect of the Noble Eightfold Path, right effort, or Samma Vayam. By bringing this up, we can see that it is imperative to practice right effort. By understanding where we must put effort to maintain and cultivate good habits, as you can see, in a combination of both focusing your time and removing distractions, we can work to be calm, peaceful, and thus sit still while listening to Pirit. Our incentives to sit still and let Parita affect us allow us to deeply find meaning in how we live our lives, and by doing so, we are able to become better, more productive, and more useful people, not only in taking care of ourselves, but to society as well. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. That was great. So here's...
So as Devdunu extremely, very clearly described how you can concentrate, how Bhante Piyananda advised civilly how to concentrate while chanting. So I think the next question is...
So now we're going to talk about the Ratana Sutra, the Buddha's discourse on three supreme jewels and their intrinsic power. So you may know that Dharma Vijaya, our temple, hosted a special virtual chanting ceremony about a week and a half ago. All day from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., where 108 Sri Lankan monks from across the United States, from different temples across the U.S., took turns chanting the Ratana Sutra to bless devotees during this pandemic time. So for the last few months, the participating temples have been chanting the Ratana Sutra in the morning and the evening, so twice per day. But this was the first time that they all got together and each temple chanted the Ratana Sutra, so for a total of 108 times. And then at the beginning of the pandemic and the beginning of our lockdowns and shutdowns in March 2020, the monks at Dharma Vijaya also chanted the Ratana Sutra 108 times. And we sent you the link in preparation for this for you to watch the Dharma Vijaya monk segment of that 108 time chanting of the Ratana Sutra. So why 108 times?
So maybe we'll ask Piyananda Hamadru, but when I try to look it up, I mean, I know there's 108 beads in the meditation necklaces, and 108 is mantras are chanted 108, and this is for thousands of years that 108 had been very significant. So I try to find out what it is, why it is so. So one of the ones that I found was this with the astrology and astrophysics and spiritual becoming intertwined. One person said that if you calculate the diameter of the sun multiplied by 108 times give you the distance from Earth to the Sun, and also correspondingly, the diameter of the moon multiply 108 times give you the distance from the Earth to the moon. So I don't know whether this is one of the things, but I'm not exactly sure what is the importance of 108 times. If Piyananda Hamduro can tell us if there's any particular significance for Buddhists.
You did a marvelous explain. I don't have anything to add. Only have to say, it is Indian, our own tradition we have been following even before the Buddha, Krik, Yajur, Sama, Atharvan Vedas, also mantras, they same time, say 108 times. Exactly, you are right. It is with the astrological way and predicted. You did a great job. Thank you.
Is the next one is the video?
No.
Okay.
So why was the Ratana Sutra chanted by Venerable Ananda and the Buddha? And I believe Setula is going to be answering that question.
Hello, my name is Sato, and my topic is why was the Ratana Sutta chanted by when Ananda and the Buddha? The Ratana Sutta is a special Buddhist sutta which has been created to overcome challenges caused by the pandemics. The Ratana Sutra, or Jewel Discourse, describes the exact qualities of the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. This sutta was taught by the Buddha as a way to help alleviate the plague afflicting the city of Vaisali. The Buddha had when Ananda walked through and around the city chanting the sutta, which led to the dispersal of the plague and the city returning to a proper city. Therefore, the Ratana Sutra is still chanted for its protective powers. The occasion for this discourse in brief, according to the commentary, is as follows. The city of Vaisali was affected by a famine, causing death, especially to poor folks. Due to the presence of decaying corpses, the evil spirits began to hate the city. This was followed by the pestilence. Plagued by these three fears to famine non-human beings and pestilence, the citizens sought the help of the Buddha, who was then Rajaha. Nowadays, we have the same problem, which is the COVID pandemic. So I would like to say to everyone to chant this sutta every day, and you could definitely get a blessing and protection from the sutta.
Thank you, Setula.
Thank you for explaining that very clearly about the Ratana Sutra and why it was first chanted. And you can see that this picture is what was something that I found. You can see that Buddha and the other monks are going in a city of Vaisali, and there's so many, people just like fall down from, the dead bodies and sick people, and that Ratana Sutra, after chanting that, as he said, that the plague was dispersed and the city returned to the prosperity.
Mm-hmm. I just want to explain some of the words for our younger students. So pestilence usually means, if you think of like bugs, so pestilence usually leads to a famine, because when you have bugs eating the food and the crops, then people don't have enough food to eat. And then that can make then people die, obviously, because they don't have enough to eat because they're starving. But also that can make people very sick and can spread disease. And the bugs can also spread disease. And that's why there was a plague. So there were multiple things happening in the city at that time that were all connected to each other. And that's why Venerable Ananda and the Buddha went to chant that sutra. All right.
Okay, we are going to skip this because Piyananda Hamduro called and said that this we really shouldn't be, showing, playing this. But I think you did listen to this on the link, so we will talk about that later. So I think Steffi, who is going to sing, you will still sing, but I'm not going to play it there, but you can see the link. Anyone who is interested, you can go to the YouTube link and watch it. It's really beautifully sung by this young girl. Oops.
So what is the meaning of the word Ratana? And what is the first jewel described in the Ratana Sutra? And I believe Swan Mai is going to be answering that question.
Hello, my name is Sun Mai, and today I'm going to be telling you about the definition of the word Ratana and the first jewel described in the Ratana Sutta. So in the Ratana Sutta, the word Ratana refers to the triple gems that make up the basis of Buddhism, in which Buddhists take refuge: the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. The first jewel described in the Ratana Sutta is the Buddha, or the Enlightened One. While this is the first jewel in the chanting, many of the passages later on also refer to the Buddha, demonstrated when the last two lines of each passage are Idampi Buddhe Ratanang Panitang Etena Satchena Suvati Hotu, which means, in the Buddha is this precious jewel, by this truth may there be well-being. The general overview of this jewel talks about the high-ranking merits of the Enlightened One, which we all as layfolk should maintain to strive towards. In fact, after the first few lines of introduction in the Ratana Sutta, it begins to assert that no matter the luster and luxury of all and any material goods in both our world and the one above us, there will never be any treasure rivaling the Buddha, which is why we should all continue attempting to let go of these material connections to reach enlightenment. Thank you.
Great, Swan Mai. That was awesome. And yes, everything that you said was correct. Ratana means jewel. And the first jewel described in the Ratana Sutra is the Buddha.
So in Ratana Sutra, you will hear like Ratanam Panitang. Panitang means like the superb. So not only is just precious, it is the most precious. Ratanam Panita. Okay.
All right. So here are the first three stanzas of the Ratana Sutra. Oh, yeah. So I believe Hasvin is going to recite the first three verses of the Ratana Sutra in English.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Hasvin, and I'll be reciting the first three verses in the English translation. Wherever beings are assembled, wherever of the earth or the heavens, may all these beings be happy, and listen closely to what is spoken. So indeed, listen, all you beings. Show loving kindness to humans, who day and night bring you offerings, and guard and vigilant. Wherever treasure is here or beyond, no precious jewel in the heavens, none is equal to the perfect one. In the Buddha is the precious jewel. By this truth, may there be well-beings. Thank you.
Thank you, Haswin. So this is the first three stanzas were addressing the deities as you the English translation shows. So
all right, let's move
okay.
on.
And we already talked about this. Again, we and several students talked about this power of true statement. So, for example, in Ratana Sutra, in the third verse, it says, in the Buddha is this precious jewel found. On account of this truth, may there be well-being. So again, that's the Satya Vachana, or power of truth. Assertion of truth.
All right. So what is the second jewel described in the Ratana Sutra? I believe Chloe will be answering this question for us. Chloe?
Hello, my name is Chloe Nguyen, and today I'll be explaining the second jewel described in Ratana Sutta. First of all, we need to understand what the Ratana Sutta is about. The recitation of the Ratana Sutta is a powerful blessing for protection according to Theravada Buddhism. The Lord Buddha first recited this sutta in the city of Vaisali, India, to help people recover from disasters caused by famine, evil spirits, and illnesses. The special power in the sutta surpasses all practice of magical devices, spells, and occultism. The Ratana Sutta upholds the three jewels as follows. The first jewel is the Lord Buddha as the perfect one, who set forth the Dhamma of Nibbana. The second jewel is the Dhamma of extinction, dispassion, deathlessness, and concentration with immediate effect. The third jewel is the virtue of the noble Sangha. The second jewel of the discourse is recited in verse 4 and 5, translated to English as followed. Extinction, dispassion, deathlessness, excellence. This attained the tranquil Sakyan sage. There is nothing equal to that teaching. In the Dhamma is this precious jewel. By this truth may there be well-being. That purity praised by the Buddha, concentration with immediate result. That concentration has no equal. In the Dhamma is this precious jewel. By this truth may there be well-being. In verse 4, the Lord Buddha implored the virtues of the teaching of Nibbana, in which he focuses on the cessation and dissociation of passion, hatred, delusion, and attachment through the realization of Nibbana. Furthermore, he also emphasizes the superiority of the Dhamma teaching. In verse 5, the Lord Buddha invokes the truth with the virtues of the teaching of the supramundane path. Once the concentration of the supramundane path arises, there is no obstacle that can prevent the arising of the supramundane fruition. In conclusion, to this day, Ratana Sutta is one of the best known and the most recited discourse in Theravada Buddhism countries to ward off evil, disease, and distress. It is also recited for promoting peace and to transfer goodwill towards all living beings. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Chloe. And yes.
And you went through several different verses and summarized it why Dhamma is a precious jewel. Thank you.
And so that's one of the verses that you summarized. Thank you.
We will talk about that in a little bit.
So what is the third jewel described in the Ratana Sutra? And I believe Sasada is going to be answering this question.
My name is Vijaya. There are three jewels of the Ratana Sutra. The first being a Buddha, the Dharma, the teachings explained by the Sutra. And third is all we have without fear. The Sangha, the Sangha, the Sangha. The mass first area of the virtue of the mass is area reason that practices Dharma. The group of disciples who renounced worldly life to wander with the Buddha and listened to his teachings. After the Buddha died, his disciples continued to live together as a community with the receipt of alms, the model with the receipt of alms. The model is governed by disciplinary rules that form part of that. Generally, the monastic order is dependent on the lay community from an economic support in the form of alms, or large gifts of money and property. Since the Buddhist monks, those of the Theravada tradition in South Asia, do not engage in commerce or agriculture.
All right, Sasada, you kind of went in and out a little bit there. With the audio, but I believe you were talking about the Sangha.
Sangha, yeah, he did.
We were talking about the Sangha.
Yeah.
So and the relationship between the Sangha and the laity, which I think is really important.
Yeah. And then in this, in Ratana Sutra, it specifically talks about, why Sangha are worthy of offerings, Ratana Sutra goes on and talks about the qualities of Sangha, free of passion, and then he also talks about arahantship and specific qualities and the arhat has to attain, and nibbana, and for noble truth, and so there are lots of different verses of Ratana Sutra where it talks about arahats arahats are the sangha who attained arhatship. They do not go the eighth birth. They attain noble truth. They attain like these four palas, Soan, Sakrudagami, Anagami, Arhat. And so there are lots of qualities of Sangha. I think there's more of the verses are of Sangha. And I think since we are getting to be a little bit late, that
we'll move on to the next question. So I believe Senuda is answering our next question, which is, can you chant one verse of the Ratana Sutra in Pali?
Hi, my name is Sinuda. I'm going to chant the first verse. Yanida Bhutani Samagatani Bhamani Va Yani Va Antalike Sabe Va Bhuta Sumana Ba Vantu Atopi Sakaka Sunantu Basatim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let me just say again, Yani the Bhutani Samagatani Bummani Vaya Niva Antalike Sabbeva Bhuta Sumana Bhavantu Atopi Sakkacha Sunantu Bhasitang. Thank you.
And that means whatever beings that are here assembled, whether of earth or of heaven, may all these beings be happy and listen closely to what is spoken. So it's the introductory verse. All right, so I think our next speaker will be Stephanie Vithanachi, who will be singing one verse of the Ratana Sutra in Pali. So Stephanie, if you wouldn't mind.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Vita. Today I will be singing verse 1 of the Ratana Sutta along with my sister Skylar. Okay. Yani the Bhutani Samagatani Bummani Vayani Va Antalike Sabbeva Bhuta Sumana Bhavantu Atopi Sakkacha Sunantu Basitam. Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful, Skylar and Stephanie.
So both in Pali and singing and chanting, it's the first verse. Thank you.
All right, so moving on to the next question. In verse 5, the Supreme Buddha praised a path of purity, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. So can you name the Noble Eightfold Path? And I believe Binada will be answering this question.
Hi, my name is Binada Vijaya, and today I'll be talking about the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path is a summary of Buddhist practices leading to liberation from samsara. The Noble Eightfold Path consists of right view, right resolve, right speech, right conduct, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right samadhi. Right view, or more commonly known as samadhi, shows our actions have consequences before and after death. Right resolved, or samma sankappa, means that we have to resolve to have resolve to consider everything as not lasting forever. Right speech, or samavaka, means to avoid lying and forms of speech that are not nice.
Well, the
right.
Next question. No.
Right conduct, or samakamanta, is like right speech, means to avoid bodily actions. Right livelihood, or sama ajiva, means to avoid wrong livelihood by not killing or harming living things, such as plants. Right effort, or samyag vayama, means to maintain a happy and wholesome mental states. Right mindfulness, or sammasati, means to never be absent-minded and always be conscious of what is happening. Right samadhi, or samma samadhi, means to always be calm and abiding. All in all, the Noble Eightfold Path is 8 Buddhist practices that help people be happier and reach the liberation from samsara. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Thank you, Binitha. And here we have a little diagram with everything that Binitha just said, the Noble Eightfold Path, and what each of the parts of the path means. Thank you. So before we move on to our discussion questions, Yenuli, is there something that, would you like to say anything? I know you hadn't signed up for anything because you are recovering. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but if you'd like to share something, that would be fine as well.
I'm okay.
Okay, yeah, all right, you're fine. Don't worry about it. All right, so moving on to our discussion questions. So the first question, in this past year, and in not just this past year, but this last week has been quite difficult for this country. So how have you tried to take care of yourself? So for example, listening to music, meditating, etc. And I believe Jay will be answering this question, but of course, after Jay answers the question, anyone else can speak as well. Jay?
Okay, in 2020, there were multiple challenges we had to learn to adapt to, such as social distancing, wearing masks, and online learning. The biggest challenge that I face is not being able to see my family and friends and doing activities together, such as playing soccer, riding bikes, or just talking in person. I really miss not playing soccer games competitively. The way I'm able to cope with these challenges is by doing exercise and dedicating my time to physical activity. My dad and I have been working out and exercising together. We ride bikes, lift weights, and play basketball or ride skateboards. Whenever I work out with my dad, it helps me take my mind off school, homework, and tests and shift the focus to the activity that I'm doing. It also helps me relax my mind. As a result, I'm able to concentrate better and focus on my schoolwork when it's necessary. Another way I have tried to take care of myself is by eating healthy food. I don't eat as much junk food and snacks. As a result, I feel I am able to concentrate better and more energy throughout the day. I feel that exercise and diet have helped me to cope with the challenges of 2020.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Jay. Does anybody have anything to add about how they've been trying to take care of themselves? No? Okay. All right, so next question. Do you have a favorite line or stanza that you enjoy chanting? If so, what is it and why do you like it? And I believe Keith Sitter will be answering this question.
Yes. So, hi, my name is Kitzar, and I will be telling you guys about what my favorite chanting is. My favorite chanting is Dasamase Urekatva Posesiv Dikarang Ayudidang Masatatan Matpadan Namamaham. This is my favorite chanting because my mom will, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here right now. And we will never forget the sacrifice our mothers made for us. And that's why this chanting is my favorite one. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith Sitter. That was great. That's a really good one to like. So our next question, do you have a quote, proverb, or personal mantra that motivates and inspires you? So for example, you might be hearing people say things like carpe diem, which means seize the day, or be the change you wish to see in the world, or bloom where you are planted. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a religious mantra. It can be something that you say to yourself. And I think Umanda will be answering this question.
Hi, my name is Amanda.
Sorry.
I actually have a couple quotes that motivate me.
Oh, awesome.
The first one is, everything isn't falling apart, it's falling into place. I love this quote because so many things happen in our lives and most of them are things we can't control. For example, natural disasters, getting sick, people leaving, like friendships ending, or an exact outcome of anything. You can't control any of those things, which leads me to my second quote. The second quote is, everything happens for a reason. I live by this quote because I like to believe the negative things that happen in our lives are supposed to happen. It kind of just helps me get through it. Thank you.
Those are really good personal mantras. And, these mantras, like I said, can be religious or non-religious, but as long as they help you take care of yourself, help you put good out into the world, that's what really matters. All right, so next question. Words can have a very strong impact on ourselves and others. As we've seen this week, you can use words to unite people, you can use words to divide people, you can use words to bring people together, to work on something together and put good out in the world, or you can use words to incite violence. So why are words so powerful? And what are some of the most powerful words that you have heard? And I believe Tarushi will be answering this.
Hello, my name is Tarushi Virasekara, and my topic is about how words can have a very strong impact on yourselves and others. Why are words so powerful, and what are some of the most powerful words that I have heard? Words have power. Their meaning crystallizes perceptions that shape our beliefs, drive our behavior, and ultimately create our world. Their power arises from our emotional responses when we read, speak, or hear them. Just say the word fire while barbecuing or in the workplace or in a crowded theater and you'll get 3 completely different but powerful emotional and energetic reactions. We all know on a surface level that words can be cruel because they have power. We've all been hurt by what someone has said to us. We know that words have staying power because we all carry wounds from our youth where someone has said something to us or called us a name, and it still makes us twinge now that we think about it. As we have seen, there is a power in the words spoken to us and those we speak to others. Choose to make a conscious decision to use them in a positive way when we speak to others. Make the decision to declare love rather than hate. Some powerful words that I have heard was from a book I have called The 4 Agreements by Miguel Ruiz. And I quote, "Speak with integrity, say only what you mean, avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love." Let's elect to communicate with compassion instead of unkindness. Moving forward, remember that your words are powerful and resolve to use them for growth and liberation. As you realize the power of your words and become conscious about your mindset, you can alter the course of your life. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Tarushi. I like how it's not just the words, like you were saying, if you say fire in different contexts. So it's not just the words that you're saying, it's the context that you're saying it in and the audience that you're saying it to. So words can be powerful depending on how and when and where you use them. So that was really insightful. All right. Next discussion question. Right speech, as we saw before, is an important part of the Eightfold Path. So what was a time that you used your words to change things for the better? And Gagini, who's right next to Tarushi, is going to be answering that question.
Hello, my name is Gagini Virasekara, and my topic is about how right speech is an important part of the Eightfold Path. What was the time you used your words to change things for the better? As we all know, right speech means to not lie and not to give rude speech. Our words tend to have a dramatic effect on what we know, how we deal with people, and the choices we make. The moment you speak something good or bad, you give birth to it as an idea, a chance, a desire. You have planted the seed that will sooner or later grow into the results you will see. My story is that one of my friends was struggling for one of our assignments, and she was getting stressed out. I noticed her struggling, and I helped her and motivated her using my positive words. These positive words helped her become more confident in herself, and it gave her motivation to work hard on the assignment and get a good grade on it. Words affect others and build relationships at work and personality. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Gagini. Yeah, I think using words to help is a great way to use your words to change things for the better, especially when someone is down. All right. So our last question, what is something you can do in this next week to use your words in a positive way? And Skylar is going to be answering that question.
Hi, my name is Skylar Vita, and today I'll be talking about a few things that we can do to use our words in a positive way. So if you have any siblings that you argue with a lot, you know that you usually aren't saying the nicest things to them. I have a younger sister, and I argue with her about 97.7% of the time, which is a statistic that she chose. So this week, I'm going to be saying nice things to her no matter how mean she is to me. And a good way to do this is for me to pause and think about what I'm about to say before saying it. Even if you don't have siblings that you argue with, you can think about what you're going to say before you're actually saying it. And this can be really beneficial and can help you avoid problems with others. Before saying something, you should ask yourself if it is helpful, kind, or necessary. Another way we can all use our words in a positive way is saying what we are grateful for out loud. During times like this, it's really easy to focus on the bad and the negative and forget about the good things in our lives. When you wake up in the morning or right before you go to bed, say, I'm grateful for, and just list a few things that you're grateful for. There are countless things that we can all be grateful for, and saying them out loud can help us feel better and remind you about the good that there is in your life. And finally, using the words please and thank you are a very simple way to use our words positively. We use these words when we're at a store and purchase something and say thank you as we leave, or saying please when we ask someone to pass us something. Generally, we use these words with people we aren't close with or strangers. Most of us are constantly at home during this time and aren't necessarily in situations where we feel that we need to use those words because we're with our closest family, but it's still good to use these words with them. And using these words can show them that you're well-mannered, respectful, and appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Skylar. So I want to give an opportunity for people who didn't sign up for a discussion question. If you wanted to answer any one of these questions, it doesn't matter. So I know Sandhuni hasn't spoken yet, and Sanadi and Sarah also haven't spoken yet. So do any of you want to answer any of these questions? Like, for example, what's something you can do next week to use your words in a positive way?
Anything.
Or anything.
I'd want to answer something.
Okay, who's
Okay. So, I have a favorite line or stanza that I enjoy chanting. So, it's from the Mangala Sutta. Yeah. This is my favorite one. Asevana chavalanam panditanam cha sevana puja cha pujaniyanam etam mangalaottamam. I like it because it leads me to the good path instead of the bad path. Like the fools get me to the bad path, and then the wise get me to the good path. And associating with the good path will help me having a good life. Help me have a good life.
That's good. That's very self-aware. And
we didn't see you. We apologize. Are you Anand or Arnob? What's your name? Okay.
But thank you very much. I thought that was really lovely. All right. Who else hasn't gotten a chance to speak?
Talk, if you want
to talk. If you don't want to talk, that's fine too. But I want to give you the chance to speak and answer any of these questions if you'd like to.
I was just going to add on, like, in general to everything we've been talking about. I've read this book by Malcolm Gladwell, and he talks about how little things make big differences, right? And it kind of goes with the words we use and praying for people. It can always be this good push towards the right direction. And I think that's a good thing to think about, because our words and our hopes and our prayers for other people and ourselves can help us and others every day, you know. So it's nice to have that with us.
Great. Yeah, no, it's so important to understand how, I think someone earlier said how, it might have been Gagani who said, like, the little comments that you that from years ago, you remember, the mean things that someone said. So those little things can turn into big things, but in the same way, those little words, those good words, those words of support can mean something, years down the line. All right, does anybody else want to answer any of these questions? I write these discussion questions so you can think about how you can incorporate, Buddhist thought into the real world, in your everyday world. So I hope that, you read these and you think about what, you can do. Do you, think about a personal, like a sentence like Umanda was talking about that really helps you, thinking about how your words have had an impact on others and what words have impacted you. And of course, sort of paying it forward and thinking about how in the future, and even as soon as in this next week, what can you do personally, actively, to use your words in a positive way, in a way that puts good out into the world. So I hope you all take not only the learning of the sutras, the learning of this Buddhist history, but you use it to think about yourself and how you are going to use Buddhism really as a tool for putting good out into the world.
I wanted to end with if you yourself or your parents or your friends or your relatives or anyone that you know had suffered from COVID, and we wanted to let you know we are with you. Our prayers are with you, and we wish you all the best, and we wish you all the courage and to face this and
to get through this and to come from the other side a little bit stronger, we hope.
And also get help within the family, and be you can use some of the things that we discussed today, right? And take care of yourself.
Take
a lot of rest.
Yes. I mean, so to answer one of my own discussion questions, what are some of the most powerful words you have heard, right? For me, because my mother has taught me to be, and my father have taught me to be very, very independent. One of the most powerful words I can say is, I need help, right? Can you help me? So part of taking care of yourself, like with the first discussion question, is asking for help and knowing when you need assistance, whether it's, help with your homework, if you need a hug, if you want, some tea or something, how to ask for help, and knowing that it's okay to ask for help. So it's another way you can use your words, is for asking for that support.
Yeah, finally, we will end. I will end this with my favorite Dhammapada verse, Dhammapada verse 204. Arogya paramalabha, santutti paramandana, viswasa paramanyati nibbanam paraman sukha. Good health is the greatest gift of the Prophet. Happiness or the contentment is the greatest wealth. A trusted friend is the best relative. A liberated mind, or nibbana, is the ultimate bliss. I say this in the morning. I wake up, I say this just before I go to bed, and you give me strength and to appreciate what I have. Thank you so much for listening. And then there are some references here, and there's more references that we took, but these are the main references. And thank you for listening,
sharing and participating in the discussion.
You are really great. I mean, you researched and you read about it. You participated in the discussion, and we thank you. And we are really, really proud of you, I have to tell you. Piyananda Hamdane, can you tell something?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Niranjala, and thank you, Mihiri. You marvelous. You did a wonderful, good job. Also, our young men and women, they were the very best. You are very good. Participated, did a wonderful, good job. As our Dr. Niranjala announced, if you want to have a listening to the chanting, encourage actually. Today also 8:30 we chant a special chanting to our Dr. Kanchana Karnaratna. She's need to help our spiritual way, we do that. And also every day, 7 p.m., our temple chanting, you can watch the, go to the Dharma Vijaya Buddhist Vihara Facebook. We especially chanting Ratana Sutta that time. Also, I would like to announce to you, all of you, could you kindly send to your birthdays to us every day